Well, Jens, can we start talking about Lennon Miller? Of course, he's a huge move for the club, financially speaking, but can you give us any insight on how that money will go forward for the club?
Not too much, but I think the big headline is that it's a fantastic deal for Motherwell FC. Everyone who's involved in the club, supporters, everyone who's played a part in his development, his pathway, and obviously for Motherwell in the future, it will also benefit us, and it's a fantastic deal for Lennon himself, and also for Scottish football to send one of the most promising talents in Scottish football into a very, very good and competitive league. So we are really happy on his behalf and on everyone's behalf who's a part of Motherwell FC.
I know you won't want to spend too much time talking about Lennon now that he has moved on, but what do you think the ceiling is for him out in the Serie A? It's such a tough league like that.
I've seen the short time I've been here. I've seen a very intelligent football player who is also very composed and relaxed and good at dealing with pressure. I expect him to do really well down there. And as you know, when coming to Italy, yes, there's a bit of adapting to the language and the style and a higher level, but I think he will adapt really well, and I'm excited on his behalf, and I think we should be, all of us, and it's going to be really interesting to see him grow. He's still very young, but I'm quite convinced that he's got a very bright future ahead of him, both in Udinese and also will be able to take the next step as a football player eventually.
And the part that you'll be focused on, of course, is where it leaves your squad with what's left of the transfer window. Can you give us any insight on any business you want to do before the window closes?
No, we still have a few things to do. We've been open about that. I'm not going to name specific position, but we're doing our best, and I think things are moving on in the right direction. We are still working within our framework and our budget and driving this club forward sustainably. When you make a big deal like we've done now, obviously it's not going to be splashed, or it's going to be benefiting Motherwell FC. Obviously a little bit short term, but in general on a long term. So we'll be able to produce the next Lennon Miller in the future, and we'll be able to be even more competitive as a club and keep progressing like the path the club has been on always. We're not going to risk the club and the balance within the club and the structure, because we have been in the Premiership for many years, and we want to keep doing that, doing what we do. But obviously we've taken some steps into modernizing the club within the framework we have, and we're not going to risk that by overspending and just taking quick decisions and stuff. We're doing things with the right speed and tempo, so we also have a good and healthy club in months and years and decades to come.
So Jens, does that mean that the club record fee that you've just sold Lennon for will all be going into sustainability in the future of the club? None of it will be in this transfer window, or had it already been budgeted for?
Yeah, I'm not gonna expose how we approach that, but there's a good and healthy plan which I back up completely, how to get the best out of the possibilities it has given the club, both short and long term. And we're not gonna change our approach to the way we drive the football club from a financial point of view. But obviously it gives us some stability and some opportunities to maybe think some of the long-term investments we need to do, maybe to be able to speed that process up a little bit, which is very positive for the football club. And then it means that it gives us even more confidence and certainty that we will have a good and healthy club over time.
You talk about producing the next Lennon Miller. Is that your job now, Jens, going forward? You need to bring through more homegrown players that can be successful both on the pitch and then sell them?
I think it's everyone. I think it's everyone's job here that we try to get the most out of what comes through the club, both what come through the academy at a very young age, and also the ones who come at a later stage, and also the players we bring in directly to the first team. If they're 20 or if they're 25, it's our job to be able to lift them and grow them into better players, first of all for us, but also we bring them in here because they are ambitious and they wanna make us better. They want to be part of a good and positive journey here, and then they want to take the next step. So I think it's everyone's job, and then we hope that now and then a similar talent like Lennon Miller pops up. We know it's very rare, and we feel extremely blessed that he has been here. So we're really excited to follow him from afar now and see what he can do.
Sorry, with Motherwell's track record in producing young players, part of the attraction of coming here, and do you see kind of evidence of that, just below the first team and the youth academy now?
No, I think it's been, as you say, it's been a part of what we are able to do here at Motherwell FC long before I've arrived, and I hope it will be in the future. And there are interesting players in the academy, and also we have some good young players taking their first step within the first team right now. I'm not going to mention any names because it's going to put unnecessary pressure on them, but we see interesting players every day, and they're really trying to also adapt to some of the stuff we've implemented. So I'm sure and positive that we will see new young players coming up in the near future.
Jens, is there a real sense of pride here at Motherwell that a player that came through the youth ranks, played for the first team, captained the first team, now has moved to a top league in Europe for a record fee for the club? Yeah,
I think that's a good word to put on it, because he's been part of this club for so long, and it's as I said, it's a fantastic story for everyone, and for Lennon himself even more so. But we are proud, and he's happy, and he's really proud. It's been going on for a little while. You've asked many questions over the last, which is fair, because I understand the interest. He is a special talent, a rare talent in Scottish football, and we're really happy that part of his journey has been with us, and we wish him all the best.
Why do you think Udinese is the club that's a good fit for him, and why does he think that, do you think?
I think there would be many clubs that he would fit in very well, because he's very versatile. He's an intelligent player who can adapt, and who has already shown here at an early stage in his career that he's able to adapt into different styles of football and do really well. So you probably ask Lennon more about that, because he's got a bigger insight in what Udinese has offered him. But it's a club that has. Look, my impression of Udinese is that it's a club that's been driven quite stable. You see some of the Italian clubs where it goes very much up and down at times, but it's a club that's been in the Serie A for a long time, and you don't really hear a lot of headlines negatively on the way they drive the club. I know there's been Danish players there as well who's really enjoyed it and done well. Maybe not recently, but earlier, I think maybe there's one centre back there now, if I'm not mistaken. And they've provided a platform for him. I think a lot of the Italian clubs have been modernized over the last decade, and are doing really well in terms of talent development. I know a lot of them are looking towards Northern Europe for talent, and they found a special case here. And they're quite good at getting them taking the next step, because they play more and more younger players in the Serie A, which is really positive. So I think it's a great move for him.
Jens, would you rather turn your attention to the academy for when it comes to getting a replacement for Lennon, or will you continue to look through this transfer window?
Yeah, we're not going to get a replacement for Lennon, because he's a player you can't replace. But we need to have a squad where we have all positions covered and enough numbers, and that's the job. Obviously, he leaves a slot in midfield open. I think some of the guys, combined with the ones we already have, but some of the guys that has come in, like in Elliot and Lucas, has stepped in and done fantastically so far, and show more than capable to fill the gap. As I said, it's impossible to replace a player like Lennon Miller, but he leaves the pathway open for the next one. He has shown the way for the academy players, and then we'll see who will take a similar journey in the future.
Would you also expect him to get more international recognition now that he's gone to a top league in Europe?
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of international recognition. I think there's a big respect, and there's been a huge interest and a lot of activity around him in general. And everyone around Europe knows who he is already. But obviously now he will get more attention, and he will probably also get even more exposure from the international games with Scotland, which will give him even more attention. And that's where, like, I think it's supposed to go like that way when you take that step, and I'm pretty confident that he will just keep going in the right direction because he's very calm and collected and sensible, and he hasn't, it doesn't seem to bother him too much with the attention. He's not in it for the attention. He's in it because he loves to play football and he wants to see how far he can go.
Maswanhise just signed a new deal
yes.
as well. How positive is that for the club?
Very positive. He's a player that came here a year ago from one of the bigger academies in England, and he's done really well. He's played more and more last season, and now he in the pre-season here and in the start of the season with the League Cup and also in the league here, he's done fantastically, and we are really pleased with his progress and his effort he's showing in terms of learning and growing. So it's fantastic. It's fantastic news for us and for him that we know he's here a little bit longer. So that's perfect.
Talk to us about Saturday. How excited are you for the opportunity to get through to the quarterfinals of the League Cup? And what do you expect from the opposition on the weekend?
Well, I expect that obviously we know a little bit of St. Johnstone. We've played them last year. We have a player who's been there, and we've studied and followed them closely. It's a team that is very confident at the moment. They're doing really well. They have a similar approach to the way they play the game as we do, and they've had some great results over the summer. So it's a team that if we're not at our best, they will hurt us, that's for sure. So we approach the game with the utmost respect for them. It's a great team. They're at home, and we know we have to produce our very best quality to be able to progress and win the game. So I expect it to be a difficult game, just as difficult as the ones we've had the last couple of weeks. But I also sense that we are having great support with us, with about 1,000 tickets sold already. So it shows that we have the backing we could wish for right now. So we will do our very best to live up to that.
You crossed paths with Simo Valari in the past?
No, I don't reckon I have. I've heard good things about him. I've heard that he's got a history here as well. So he's a popular guy in both camps, and I look forward to meeting him and to see his team perform. But hopefully we will have the upper hand and progress and move on. We have a good history here, especially recently on doing well in the League Cup, and we want to see how far we can take it. And if everything goes well, maybe do even better than we did last year. So it's a massive game for us.
Can I just ask about some injury news? How's Liam Gordon and is Apostolos, is he fully fit for this weekend?
Yeah, he had a little issue when he came off AP that we had to address in the beginning of last week, and that's also why we decided to leave him out of the starting lineup, because we felt that it was a matter of it was a volume matter, so we had to bring him on later during the game. He's fine now. Been training the weekend. He's good and ready. Obviously, Then Johnny and Gordo has had some minor issues. They're not ready for Saturday. We'll assess it early next week and see how far it is. Jordan McGee is back in full training next week, which is really, really positive. So I really look forward to getting him back on the pitch with us. And then Sosa has had a surgery, had a bigger injury, muscle injury, and now he's had surgery and he will be out for several months, unfortunately. So it's very unfortunate, but that he's had surgery. It's gone well, and we hope for a speedy recovery for him as well.
Jens, can I ask you about Andy Halliday? Are you comfortable with any of your players speaking publicly about another team, and in this case, weaknesses within the Rangers team?
Look, I think he's doing media work, and I think actually he's doing really well. I think he's and players, they have sometimes they get approached with opportunities to do other stuff than football. I think he's a very intelligent man who knows how to do it with respect, and he's quite analytical as well. And I don't have any issues with it, because sometimes they will also be approached by you guys after the game with a question where they have to answer questions about the opposition. So it's not something that he couldn't and wouldn't be exposed to in a normal environment here. So I have absolutely no issues with that. I have seen him, and I know he's got some experience doing it, and I think he's doing really well when he's doing it, and he knows exactly how to balance that with being a Motherwell player at the same time.